Now, try as I may to understand the critiques and the claims of intersectionality and critical race theory, I've come upon a troubling realization. No one's been solidifying this range of thinking, and in a while you'll see what I mean. I tried Googling like the basic tenets of critical race theory, and even though they're all like generally the same, they're not. There is no precisely point by point in exact language what they all believe in, and the priority of each of those things is radically different. Sometimes it's the same idea reworded the same, but let's just take a look, shall we? Yes. One sec. So, tenets of critical race theory, rooted in education, at least 5 elements form its basic perspectives. Let's click on here. Tenets of critical race theory. Critical race scholarship is unified by 2 basic tenets. The first is to understand how a regime of white supremacy, translate that as the West, and its subordination of people of color, meaning holding them accountable to rule of law, have been created and maintained in America, meaning, America actually developed a culture that demands be upheld, God forbid, and in particular to examine the relationship between that social structure and profess ideals such as rule of law and equal protection. Basically, we don't want these things because it subverts our revolution and it creates a stable society, which means people won't rebel against it, and therefore we don't like it because it gets in the way of revolution. The second is a desire to not merely to understand the vexed bond between law and racial power, but to change it. Yes, you want to change the rule of law to destroy equality, to destroy rule of law, to destroy equal protection, so that way you can essentially cause a revolution. So, rooted in the field of education, state Solorzano and Tara J. Yoso in 2000 state at least 5 elements that form its basic perspectives, research methods, and I'm not even pronouncing that word, pedagogy, whatever that is. They are 1, the centrality and intersectionality of race and racism. 2, challenge the dominant ideology, i.e., ferment revolution. 3, the commitment to social justice, ferment revolution against white people. 4, the importance of experiential knowledge. So basically they're putting the experiences of people who haven't actually experienced real racism to justify those experiences as racism, which is why it can't be actually quantified in data, because it's not actually there, they're chasing a ghost. And 5, the use of interdisciplinary perspectives. CRT also developed subgroups such as Latina, Latinx, critical, Latcrit, which is discussed in other pages. So, yes, there's very little uniting critical race theorists and one another, except for, essentially, white man bad. That's the only thing literally uniting these people. They can say whatever hokum, whatever crap spews out of their mouths. None of it makes any sense. None of it has any consistency except white man bad. And this has caused me some great concern, because here's what I'm understanding. You are accusing white men of being the worst villain of all possible time. White men take the cake. They are the most evil, the most maniacal, the most scheming, and the strongest force that has dominated history, and not just history itself, but your own history. They've dominated the history of the Asian, of the Latino community. They've dominated black history and rewritten it for their own selfish purposes, for power only, and this must be stopped, readdressed, and fixed. In a day and age where those evil villains, the white men, have decided to extend the rule of law, equal protection, rights for rights for everyone. And in the time, now, here's another facet that we all have to understand. White man did this whilst divided. Okay? The Anglo-Saxons, the Latins, the Germanic tribes, the Nordics of the North, all completely different groups, constantly at war with each other, whilst divided, still managed, while divided, to conquer you, to dominate your history, to completely be an absolute crushing force upon your life, and have built the cultural forces that you currently participate in. Whether you enjoy it or not is honestly irrelevant. And you mean to tell me that in your infinite wisdom, you found it wise and expedient to tell all of these groups, shove it up your ass? We don't want your equality. We don't want to let bygones be bygones. In fact, we are so pissed off at you, we're now going to tell you to either unite like we have or die. Okay? That is what critical race theorists are telling the blacks and the Asians and the Latinos essentially to do. Turn on white man and tell him it's either you aggress against us with force or we will conquer you. And you are doing this in the age of the internet. In an age where all of these different groups who, while divided, were still stomping around being this evil, maniacal villain that you have painted, we now have the internet, and your message to this great, fantastic villain is unite or die. I can't wrap my head around how fucking stupid that idea is. I cannot express to you how I am floored at the audacity that someone could actually bring forth this idea believing the things that they believe. Holy shit. Imagine if instead of there being, let's put this in the Star Wars universe, just hypothetically. Instead of Luke rising up and discovering that there was a Darth Vader and one Palpatine, there's like 5 or 6 of them. And you got them all in the room and said, we're going to crush you if you don't unite or die. That is essentially what has happened, is you have taken not just one mega villain, you've made about 5 or 6, and only you, the one weakling, the one pissant in the room, and you're telling all of these mega badasses, submit before me or unite and die. Now, anyone with any Machiavellian sense, with any inkling of survival, is going to bet your ass that every single Sith Lord in that room is going to look at one another and go, okay, we will unite and you will die. Seems rather simple. Have a good day. Thank you for the meeting. Thank you for the lunch. We'll see ourselves out. I don't understand the wisdom, the logic, or the reasoning behind the assertion. I don't understand it. It completely floors me. And that's why this infuriates me so, is because at the end of the day, if you were to actually try putting this crap into practice, white people are going to be just fine. In all honesty, if this radical agenda were to be pushed tomorrow and enforced tomorrow, it would mean the death and destruction of every minority group who went against whitey. Because historically speaking, whites have been stronger, faster, more intelligent, far more adaptive, far more ingenious than their adversaries. It's not like they didn't get to their place in the world out of sheer luck. And anyone who tells you that they did is lying to you. So let's cut the crap and, dare I say it, actually get along with one another. How about, instead of bringing up age-old grievances, you actually put it all behind yourselves and just move forward? Because the other option is to tell whitey to unite or die. And the answer is no.